Start knocking on my door. Start knocking on my door. Till the landlord told me, don't live here no more. Keep on trucking.
Where am I? I just crossed the Mecklenburg County line.
Get to 58, you take a right on 58, you're down 58, you'll see it.
Okay, thank you.
It drive me crazy. Almost drive me out of my mind.
Today we're going to go visit Boo Hanks in Buffalo Junction, Virginia. I'm a field researcher. You know, when someone like Boo comes along that represents a really old tradition, and just, you know, go ahead with it because it's so important. That's really the heart of our mission, is to help those, you know, really old, pure, traditional players. Boo never learned Lightning Hopkins. He's just pure Blind Boy Fuller-esque blues. He never been recorded. He never thought about playing professionally.
So I had so much bad luck, woman. Why you do me wrong?
There's Boo right there.
How you doing, Dale?
Yeah, doing fine.
Yeah, right.
You know what?
And I won't.
How long you been here?
How long I've been here? Oh, 18 or 20 years, I reckon.
20 years.
I reckon.
I never thought in 2007 that I would meet another musician of such deep country blues roots. They pronounced that style dead in the books in 1967, so 40 years later to find someone still playing it, it's amazing.
So long, baby. I must say goodbye. Gonna run this highway, baby, till the day I die. Cause I keep to the highway, feel like I'm bound to go. Gonna leave it running, walking it too slow.
Music that we help nourish, these are forms of music that people don't even recognize. A lot of them, like what Micah Vine does, or Haskell, or Drink Small, people don't even know exists.
The whole idea of music maker is, if you take an artist who may have fallen on hard times and be living in a lot of poverty, but if they can get a proper instrument in their hand and get a respectable stage to play on and bring them an audience, that they will rise to the occasion. And it has always been my experience that they do.
No matter how high we raise the bar for these guys to play, like Carnegie Hall or Lincoln Center or all these festivals in Europe, people have been obscure for 50 years. They would put on a great show and steal the show. They kill it every time. So you really believe in these talents.
Hope everybody's feeling all right. I got a little blues to put in for y'all. If you ever want to do a crime, you better stop before you make up your mind. Everybody gonna get the blues. Just keep on living. Before the end of time, you be singing the blues till the end. If you ever want to do a crime, you better stop before you make up your mind. If you ever want to do a crime, you better stop before you make up your mind.
Everyone always asks what kind of blues these guys play. They'll make sweeping generalizations like there's Mississippi blues, Chicago blues, Piedmont blues, West Coast blues. But we find with these music maker artists, there's John D. Holman blues, there's Cootie Stark blues, there's Neil Pabin, there's Mr. Frank. And so when they go, the sound goes. They leave a sound, and that's why it's so important to document and record it and film these guys, because when they go, they can't be replicated.
Flatfoot Susie with her. Flatfoot Susie with her. Flatfoot Susie with her. Now if you feeling low down, don't know what to do, come on down to the showground and the baby I'll dance for you. Now Flatfoot Fruity with her. Flatfoot Fruity with her. Flatfoot Susie with her. But that blues, anything you say about that blues, somebody experienced it in life. Slaves sung it across the field days, and they working, get to singing. They telling one another, we're gonna meet out of the river tonight, we're gonna try to escape, Yeah, like you work all year long. My daddy done that one year and then worked all year long, the whole year, 12 months. You know what the man told him when that Christmas? Jess, you done good. You come out of debt and glad you come. He didn't have nothing but his comb. He would have took that, but he said he carried the comb. And the law requires you don't take a man bread. Me and my baby, we never fuss and fight. All we hug and kiss every night. I'll come home one evening. She had gone away. Ever since she went away, my heart ached for her each and every day. Her address unknown, blue here to stay. Well, she gone, but not forgotten. This is the reason why. It's hard to get a loved one that always satisfies. She got love like those rolling. They come in with the tide. But I hope someday she let her love roll back my way. And explain to me herself reason why she let her.
I was studying at UNC Chapel Hill for folklore. They gave me a project to document a man named James Guitar Slim Stevens. He's a blues rounder from Greensboro, North Carolina. So for 6 months I would go out and tape record and photograph and do oral history. It was taught, blues was dead. It was not, country blues didn't exist anymore. And within a few weeks, this guy introduced me to 10 great blues artists in this whole scene. And he said, well, the greatest is this guy named Guitar Gabe, played the circuses. His daddy recorded with Blind Boy Fuller. I knew his dad. This guy, he's really great. But he's a wino, and I know where to find him on the streets every once in a while. And he lives in cardboard boxes. If you find him, he ain't gonna do shit for you anyways. And he'd be hard guy to track down. I went back to Winston, where I was living, and was teaching school.
Tim would walk into the school, I think, with a guitar, long hair, walk in, be the teacher. And he asked some of the kids if they had ever heard of Guitar Gabriel.
And some said no, he was burned up in a house fire. Others said no, he had passed. And then one little girl said, no, he's my next door neighbor. And so she drew me a map to where she lived in a drink house, like a juke joint where he hung out. This guy named Hawkeye got in the car with me, drove me over to Gabe's place, and this little old man just was walking out of his little apartment. We went back into the room, and I don't think we got to play. We bought him some drinks, and the next day we went out, and I got to hear him play, and it was amazing. When he hit that guitar, it struck a chord throughout me. He was such a genius, such a true American original blues artist. Couldn't believe no one heard anything about this guy. Couldn't sleep for a week. Took all my friends down there and started hanging out with him.
I met Tim in Winston and got in his van, and we go over to meet Gabe. And of course we pull up, and Gabe lived in a rather rough area of East Winston, Piedmont Circle.
When we pulled up in the hood, I mean where the dudes are trying to sell you crack until they realize you're not there to buy crack. You get out of the van, you go up to this little door, and you go in, and there's Guitar Gabriel.
We go in and sit down in Gabe's house, and the coffee table was covered with spent lighters. 5
blue ones, 5 red ones, 5 white ones, and you could strike every single one of them, and none of them would light. But they were all lined up symmetrically all around the coffee table, all on the mantles, all on all the end tables and stuff. It was a character.
Gabe sat down on the couch. We sat down. Asked, he says, well, play us a tune. He says, all right. Yep, I'll play a tune, and y'all take me over to Sam. Pick some over there. We played that day in Sam's drink house, and it was like wild. It was fun. Everybody was clapping, dancing, drinking.
Oh, yeah, baby. I want you to catch it like you did.
Tim spent just every day, just about, with Gabe. He quit teaching.
Guitar Gabriel had recorded an album in 1970 under the name Miles Jones called My South, My Blues. And one of the cuts, Welfare Blues, was very successful and did very well in the charts, but he never saw a dime of royalties from it, as is typical, and became very embittered about that.
It hung up his career in 1970, and it was 1989. He was first very distrustful of this young white guy hanging out with him. I didn't know how to play blues, and he showed me how to play this, back him up on the guitar, and we started playing gigs. One afternoon we made a little cassette. Do you know means I have a friend. And with that little cassette, started getting gigs, and we played every little juke joint and bar in North Carolina and South Carolina. And I had a white Ford van, and I would drive around with Gabe, and he was a great philosopher and a non-stop talker. Once he got going talking, he could talk for hours and hours.
Blues is a legend. It's here something will be with us out through the generation, because it explains your up-haps, your misfortune, your good haps, the people you've been around, the people you associate with, and the things happening during your life. You can go to university, you can go to school, college, but if you don't learn it in the street life, walks of life, the people you'll be around and associate with, you'll never learn it. That's what blues is all about. It's a feeling. You don't find it on notes and paper. It comes from the heart.
You know, back then I couldn't afford the phone bill. The phone was very expensive, and especially Europe or everywhere, and I just would write postcards all day long. I wrote hundreds of postcards to anybody, you know, anyone I thought could help us in our cause. And things kind of jumped off. We got invited to go to Holland, and do a video over there and play a festival.
Ain't gonna let no woman mess up my mind. Ain't gonna let no
We used to go to Switzerland. We played TV shows. We played a children's show, and they asked them if we could play any children's music. And Gabe did a wonderful version of Old MacDonald's Farm for the test for the producer in front of him, and it was really clean. And then when the cameras rolled live on TV, Gabe just did a filthy version of it.
On his farm, he had some chicks. They all got together and bip, bip, back down. Yeah, he had a farm. We all got together and had a little fun. Oh, MacDonald, don't you be so mean. Why don't you let us see that sick machine, MacDonald? Come off of that farm. Well, I can't understand it. What is all inside?
During our stays at the Drinkhouse, we had met his friends. I met McAvine Hayes. He took me out in the country, met this old guy recorded in the 30s, Preston Fulp, old jazz cat from the Harlem Renaissance days, Mr. Q, Willa Mae Buckner, the Snake Lady. I was sitting in a drink house, and this lady gets up on the table and starts singing the most low-down, risque songs you could believe. And Gabe just laughing, and the drinks flying. It was I miss those days.
He took him out in the woods one day just to teach him how to hunt. He stuck his nose up a little girl's dress and tried to. Come along, you naughty dog, you make my nature right. There isn't a man on 1,000 miles who can lay between my and your father, brother Jim. What's we gonna have for supper? The heck with a man who's got a wife and don't know how to come down, but all night long there's whiskey in this glass. Anybody here don't like this song? They can just.
You know, it was wild. I never saw that before by a 70-year-old lady. I just fell in love with her and immediately got on her shows.
Willa Mae has been a risque dancer, has been a snake handler, has been a dancer on the old Gilly shows, the little tent shows that traveled throughout the South in the 30s, 40s, 50s.
Ran away from home at 12 years old and joined this all-black circus. Ended up in Harlem, picked up guitar and steel guitar, and then came back to Winston and became a city bus driver, and was just a real character, really sharp tongue, sharp wit, you know, mouth dirtier than a sailor.
I met her a few years ago, and we've done festivals on the East Coast, and last April we were at Carnegie Hall doing a show called Circus Blues.
She lived with an 18-foot python and a 16-foot python that roamed free around her house. She was an old snake handler, and she communicated with these snakes by tapping her feet on the ground. It can actually call them like a dog and fed them frozen rats. When you first became aware of snakes?
I'm from Georgia, honey. Every snakes was everywhere where I come from. I just like snakes. Now, I worked other things. I just liked what I was doing, even when I was dancing or even when I was doing something else. I worked side shows too. I don't walk no damn line.
She opened her pillow and there was, showed me 10 little baby pythons that she had bred, and then they're around her handgun, and she slept with that under her pillow. She slept with a pillow over these snakes and a handgun and a big snake in her bed, and she said, "Do you think anyone's going to mess with me?" Willa Mae convalesced out here for a while, and she made me bring this paper bag out for her. She wouldn't tell me what's in it. And I just brought it in. I didn't think of anything. Then I opened it. It was her Smith & Wesson, you know, and so I took the bullets out.
So baby, let me play with your yo-yo. I'll let you play with mine.
In East Winston, where Captain Luke and Gabe and Michael Vine live, there aren't a lot of bars. There, you know, even in the South in general, in North Carolina, there isn't a tavern culture like you have in like the Northwest, or bars in New England, or bars you have in New Orleans where people go to. There's just no place in Mike Avine's or Captain Luke's neighborhood to go have a drink. So they have these drink houses where someone goes in their own home and they have a bottle of liquor and they sell $1 shots and $1 beers, and that's where everyone's at.
Drink house, old lady sitting in the kitchen by the sink. And underneath the sink is a bottle of gin, a bottle of vodka, and a stack of dentist cups. The little cups like they give you to swish at the dentist. You give her $1 and she'd squirt a little liquor in there for you. People come in and out. Normal people come in, have a drink. Guy with his kids out in the car, come in, take a couple drinks. A couple dudes lay there the whole time, never even moved.
Sometimes you go in some of the house, they be playing cards, having fun, drinking, playing music.
A special place, I guess, for music to blossom in a situation like that. You know, to have a crowd that's so laid back and just be able to just play and play and play.
Father got a hot rod and Daddy got a Buick. Daddy got a medical mow and do it. We just did that. We just did that thing. We just did that thing. Oh, that is that thing. I'm gonna set it in the weather, gonna set it in the summer, gonna set it in the thing. Yeah. Give you that. I said that thing. We just did that thing. We just did that thing. That thing. Well, turnip green and turnip tops. I was like, we were a silly fox. If you don't please that dear lad, I can't look at your head.
And there's legendary proprietors like Ezel that ran for 40 years.
Oh man, Ezel, he had the best drink house in the whole Winston-Salem. I mean, everybody loved him. Everybody loved Ezel. Everybody goes there, and he was open 24 hours a day.
I remember driving up 52 and he said, "We need t-shirts with my face on it, with Toot Blues on the back, and we can sell these." I was like, all right, good idea. And we figured out a way. We found a friend at a t-shirt company. We bought the seconds really cheap for 50 cents a piece and got them printed and sold them for $10 a piece. That was the main half of our income the whole time we knew each other selling those shirts. Guitar Gabriel used to say he used to travel around with a guy named Chief Wahoo. I actually saw signs in antique stores of his patent medicines. So one day at a drink house, he gave us the recipe, which was not much, but he gave us especially the pitch, and Gabe and I actually made some Chief Wahoo healing oil, and Gabe would actually pitch us, and we sold lots of these things. Good panacea for rheumatism, aches and pains, massage, all ailments, back and knees, depression, gout, corns and calluses, sleepless nights, migraine headaches, also good for your neck and your libido. Then he came up with a wigwam potion. Massage, aphrodisiac, general malaise, chronic disinterest, euphoria, love rub, trauma cure, lubricant, and arousing physical energies. We had steady customers. All these little towns, we'd get there earlier, go to the health food store and sell 4 or 5 bottles, for $5 a piece. It's really ridiculous to think about it. But that would buy lunch, So we were always hustling.
When we first started working with the artists, Tim was fresh out of school. I just, I had one of my first jobs and we were broke ourselves. And then, trying to help the artists, Tim would take everybody around on check day. They would come to Tim and explain to him that they just, were they going to keep the phone on or keep the light bill paid so that they had heat, and Tim would try and get gigs, but it was never enough. So the foundation started really as a very heartfelt response to the very real needs of a small group of people.
Such a rainy night in Georgia.
Captain Luke has a CD coming out in June on the Dixie Frog label in France. Right now I'm just getting him the publishing information and personnel information, who's playing on what track, and some liner notes about Captain Luke, and Cool John.
How many times I wonder, yeah. But it still comes out the same, oh yeah. No matter how you look at it or think of it in life, but you just gotta play the game. Find me a place on a boxcar, so I'll take my guitar, pass the time. But real late at night, real hard to rest, I hold your picture to my chest and look feel fine, so fine. But it's a rainy night in Georgia, yeah. Babe, it's a rainy night in Georgia. I feel it raining all over the world. And Luke is home tonight and talking about a rainy, 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 rainy over the world. Oh, it's gonna be raining, y'all. It's gonna be rainy, 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 rain. All over the world. Yeah.
We was down in South Carolina. Somebody had told us about John, and we found out where he lived. And we went to his house. I remember you, Tim, you said, I think he'll stick with us. I said, yeah, if you bring him on Winston-Salem, give him something to do. That's one thing about John. He was good. Still is good. One of the greatest guitar players I met.
Come down hard on me, baby. Hard as you can. Come down hard on me, baby. Hard as you can. Come down hard on me, baby. Show me that I'm your loving man. Come down hard on me, baby. Hard as you can. Hard on me, baby. Hard as you can. Come down hard on me, baby.
I don't know what John is doing when he plays guitar. His hands are moving and shaking and doing things with the guitar that just doesn't make sense. It looks like he's patting it, and huge flurries of notes are coming out crystal clear, and he's just a genius guitar player.
started playing when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I started playing in churches, and everybody wanted me in their church.
Come down hard on me, girl. Listen. Come down hard on me, baby. Hard as you can, yeah. Hard on me, baby. Hard as you can. Hard on me.
By playing for so many people, or along with so many people at different times through the years, I mean, like, I guess it's natural, comes natural to me. I can just sense it. I can feel the next move, you know. I'm doing it for 47 years now, so I just plan to keep on playing, you know, and whatever happens, happens.
In 94, the winter of 94, I went into New York City to visit a friend, a guy named Mark Levinson, who's the dean, one of the great deans of audio. He listened to my tapes, and he came up with the name, Tim, you're going to stop hustling around. We could call it the Music Maker Relief Foundation, a nonprofit organization to help these guys.
You know, Tim asked Mark, what else could we do? And they put together the Living Past CD and book and went out there and they raised $20,000. And that's how the foundation got its start.
When I was traveling with Guitar Gabe, I met a lot of different people. We went down to Mississippi and recorded. We went to Georgia, met Beverly Guitar Watkins and Precious Bryant and Essie Mae Brooks, Rufus McKenzie, John Lee Ziegler, Eddie Tickner, Albert White, Mr. Frank Edwards, Cora Mae Bryant. There was a great guy named Cootie Stark, Neil Patman, Jerry McCain out of Gadsden, Alabama. Started just broadening our circle, helping more and more artists. So what did you think of me when I first came up the door there back in 91?
I thought you was a bear.
Thought I was a bear? As Guitar Gabriel's health was declining in 94, 95, I went down to Greenville and met Cootie Stark. And then when Gabe passed, Cootie really took on the realm of the ambassador of the Music Maker Foundation. We traveled extensively throughout the United States and Europe. Cootie was intrepid. He had such intense faith in me. He was blind, had literally nothing, and it was completely fearless to go anywhere with his music. He said he left many towns without his clothes because he couldn't find them with just his guitar. And many times he'd want to go home from wherever we were, and I'd put him on a plane. I'd be worried about him getting home. He wasn't worried at all. He'd find his way just anywhere. He was this incredible, brave spirit, very spiritual man.
We need to make up a special word that describes how cool it is to have Cootie hold your arm when you come down from the motel room to eat breakfast in the morning. Go down there and have Cootie with his sunglasses on. Some magic feeling.
Cootie worked on his music career from 16 till his mid-70s, till he got a break. He was 15, 16 in the 30s, and he's hanging out with guys in their 70s and 80s back then. So his music reached way, way back. He really carried on the tradition.
Well, to me, that's all I ever didn't know. The blues is good to me. The blues gives me something to tell people, the lay people, if they would listen. The blues gave me a testimony. And I think these lake people ought to take time out and listen to these old songs. Jingle, 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 rock and roll. Jingle, jingle, rock and roll. That's why I have to sing about it.
not a guitar collector, but seemed to amass a bunch of them. The guitar shop, pawn shop in Winston that used to have old guitars that went out of business, but this is a guitar like Blind Lemon Jefferson used to play. I love this one. Captain Luke bought this for $3 from someone who brought it into his house. I was sitting there one day. Here's Gabe's Old National. That's a sad part. I get a lot of guitars. Artists pass away. A lot of these artists want me to have their instruments because they've kept on them a long time and they want them to have a life. There's Cootie's old guitar. Now Micah Vine plays that on tour. Willa Mae's old Epiphone. There's a great picture of her playing it. Someone donated this. This is a keeper on session. A cool job basically to have when you didn't have a guitar. When his guitar was pawned, I have this around. Probably should give it to him. A left-handed Strat. He pawned my my red Strat, which I found out a 70 Strat is worth several $1,000s. He pawned it for $100 and lost it for pawn.
How does it work exactly?
Bring this guitar in, you get $100 on it, and then you have to pay like $30 or something, and then if you don't make it, you just pay the interest. That's how usually it stays. It stays in there, and they keep paying the interest, and so they'll pay on that $100. They'll pay $200 on interest before they get it out.
A couple of times I had to pawn my guitar. That was to pay rent or to eat, you know. And when a man pawned his axe, that's the closest thing to me. And like when it was in the pawn shop, it felt like it was a part of me away. I named it pawn shop. This is my baby. Been in the pawn shop 35 times. It's funky when I go in the pawn shop. And I miss it like it was in the jailhouse. This is my baby here. Ohio got slips on me. Pennsylvania. Alabama got them stacked. I told her, the pawn shop man, I said, man, every time I pawn my guitar in your pawn shop, when I get it and take it home and play it, like it sound more bluesy.
7 years ago, I saw driving down the highway, Adolphus Bell, one-man band, on the side of his van. Finally, 3 years later, a friend gave me a phone number. He just did gig with this guy, Adolphus Bell. I called him up, we did a show. I learned that he was homeless for the last 15 years, living in his van. A friend of mine in Washington, we got him a passport, we got him a CD out, and since that time, 2 years ago, he has traveled to Europe 6 times. He's been toured Argentina, he's gone throughout Australia. He has got an apartment, he's got a car, he's got a phone, he has a future. And he's actually making money for the foundation now. So it's a wonderful thing. And let's give a warm welcome for the king of the one-man band, the greatest one-man band in the world. Let's give a warm welcome to Adolphus Bell.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, hit it. Just a woman told my mama before I was born.
Music is something that's always been around me. Even when I used to pick cotton in the fields, I would take a little cotton stalk. And I was about 7, 8 years old and be in my mama's cotton sack, and I would act like I had a guitar, you know.
I like an Alabama woman. She knows how to treat me. I like an Alabama woman. Lord, she knows how to treat me.
And I packed my equipment and my clothes. I didn't know where I was going. And I had one-man band on the side of my station wagon. Each town I would go into, I had no problem getting no gig because I was by myself.
When I come off the road, she said, "Oh, Daddy, before you bed, the kitchen smelling good, house cleaned up."
If I go to a gig, guys ask me, say, hey man, so want me to help you with the equipment? I said, no, thank you. If I let you help me, then that make me feel like I'm cheating. I'm not the real one-man band. You got to be able to travel by yourself. You got to set up the equipment by yourself. You got to be able to cook. You got to be able to wash. I wash, iron, you know. And when you can do this, then you are the original.
So baby, come on in the room. I'm gonna put you to bed so you can stay. I don't care what a devil knows you might down and lose down, make party, whatever party.
Bye. I think we'll be opening up probably. It'll be a package show.
Will?
Yeah, so none of us have to work too hard. And Albert says he knows all those songs. If not, we can do Choking Kind. Yeah, how's that go?
I own to love you. And you know it, baby. And you know it. Why didn't you be content with the love I gave? Oh yeah, I gave you my heart. You wanted my mind.
They were going to Europe, they wanted some smokes. What kind?
Charity blend.
Charity blend.
That'll last you 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's good right there.
For this right here? For 2 weeks?
Yeah, because I don't smoke at night.
You don't smoke when you're sleeping.
I don't smoke at night. Yeah.
Captain Luke only smokes cherry blends by Middleton's. That's the one thing he'll be unhappy about if he doesn't have his brand of cigar. In Argentina, we ran out and we had to look, for days. Finally found a pack of some stale Middleton blends for like $20. When everything else was $2 or $1.50. You want some sweet potato pie? Oh, like that. You won't get a food good like this in France next week. I think we played 5 shows straight off, night after night in different towns. Throw your stuff in the hotel room, grab your guitars, go do a show, and then come back, get something to dinner, chat a while, go to sleep, wake up, travel, do another show, hop on a bus, fall asleep, drive another town, wake up, see them promote. It's a grind. But they outdo us. They outdo the young kids because they're not chasing girls. Well, they are, I guess. Mike's chasing girls.
No, I'm not.
You're traveling with 80-year-old men and women. Main thing is to make them comfortable, not, racing around. Making sure that all their needs are taken care of, making sure the food is close to the hotel, not getting wet, just common sense stuff that we take care of. And the most fun thing is taking these guys, like you've seen Micah Vine, where they live, and they're going to like a cognac, and where they're eating at the Hennessy estate. Look like him. Give me a portrait. Mike can get having fun. He'll stay up for 2 or 3 days, and the amazing thing to all of us is like everyone we're dragging to make a 5 o'clock call, and Mike's the guy ready, stays packed, and he's there waiting on everyone.
He's the real deal. But Micah Vine is like where the veins of the blues and the capillaries of rock and roll just start to touch.
When we play over in Europe, people go crazy. Micah Vine and Captain Luke, we went last there, they got 2 standing ovations. It's a shame they have to travel so far to work, but it's great to have some work.
The bigger the crowd, the better.
The bigger the show is, the better I can perform. I love Argentina, the sweet peoples. Some of the sweetest peoples on this side of the river.
Pero que solo tiene que ser. Pero. No, pero muchas gracias. ¿Te gusta eso?
So I met Beverly Guitar Watkins, and she was in the original Dr. Feelgood in the Interns, and she was the intern dressed up in a nurse's uniform playing rhythm guitar and made legitimate hits. Mr. Moonlight was covered by the Beatles. John Lennon talked about this guy, and she was a guitar player. Off stage, when she's not playing guitar, she's like a nice, sweet Southern grandma. When it comes to music, she is a serious pro, and she's going to kick ass, and she knows how to play the blues.
I was brought up in the church in a little town called Commerce, Georgia. I came from a very musical and inclined family. Well, my gift is playing the guitar.
Touring is great for the artists because they get the adoration of the fans, they get a chance to play with their peers, they get to travel, they get to play music, but also just the money is very important to these artists. And they get used to it, and we have to keep a commitment once we get someone touring to try to keep them touring.
Are great, and I just love this country. So I'm having a fantastic time.
I'll know when you come back with me. So now?
Well, my brother Bill's a voter. Bill's a great promoter. He's always looking for some good advice.
I'm really very much like in the school of Alan Lomax or the early guys who recorded Vic's Peterback. Just set up the microphones, two microphones mostly in a stereo pair, and set it up where it sounds really good and where you get a balance between the voice and the guitar and the other musicians, and just try to document the artists from where they are. And hopefully they're great. All right, John, we're ready again.
I'm gonna kill you one black red. One day you gonna find your tree. I'm gonna kill you one black red. One day I'm gonna find your tree.
John D. Holman is probably one of the greatest country bluesmen alive. His sound is so clear and tone is so great.
I did construction work, like running bulldozers and backhoe. And that heavy equipment, I did that for about 35, 40 years. But when I came to Durham, that's when I heard talk of Blind Boy Fuller. I played some of the records and pretty well learned behind them. My uncle and my cousin, they knew him, but I didn't. I just know of his record and copied off of his record and my cousin and my uncle until I picked it up like that, so I've been going pretty well ever since. Somewhere near your shirt.
I like when I can kind of be an advocate for the artists. Different artists will have different needs, and so I try to help them out with that, with like relocation or, you know, I'm going to try to write a will for somebody today.
I would say, 80% of the artists we deal with have no will. It's an ongoing challenge. And the thing about divorce and, you know, just not going through these legal channels, they're just, you know, it's too expensive. So it's not uncommon for someone to be married 2 or 3 times with no divorces in between. It's just too expensive.
Are the marriages legal?
The first one is.
Yeah, well, they're all legal until they find out about the other ones.
We had to go and get Guitar Gabe's name legally changed.
From no name, it looked like Muhammad, but some
on
legal.
his birth certificate. Yeah. It was No Name Jones. He was
Yeah.
born No Name Jones.
Yeah.
That's what his birth
So
certificate
we had to give him a legal name. It's a huge problem.
Like when we go to get passports for people, very rarely do you find people that have a birth certificate and a driver's license. None of the documentation matches up, and we've had to pull in. We've had to get affidavits from 96-year-old aunties that, you know, Cootie Stark was, you know, born in America. Like, what else could Cootie Stark be?
Mike Vine has 3 birth dates. He has 3 different birth certificates.
Right.
I don't know how.
And who knows? Maybe somebody tried to. They lied about their age, made them older so they could work to get working papers at some point. A lot of times, right, there weren't legal marriages, so as children, they may have their mother's maiden name, but then they use their father's name when they get older. It's just the names don't match up. We find that people need help. They need a conduit to deal with the government agencies, you know, be it the Housing Authority or Social Security. We feel very fortunate to have had, you know, trained staff and a mechanism in place to help musicians. So when Katrina ripped through the Gulf and disrupted maybe, close to 5,000 musicians in New Orleans, we could spring into action very quickly.
I said, did you hear about the mighty flood that happened way down in New Orleans? Well, let me tell y'all all about it. I was right there on the scene. Oh, the wind started blowing, started a little rain. Oh, that was a terrible, terrible thing down in New Orleans.
My wife, Dixie, she worked at the Mausoleum Hotel. When bad weather would come up, she automatically would have a room there for us, you know.
So I jumped on my 2-wheel Cadillac, my bicycle, hit Lafitte Street there and head straight out Mausoleum Hotel. I don't know how many miles I was making an hour, but I was doing all I could do.
The water was real high here. It was like at least about 3 feet of water here.
Yeah, you can see that water line up.
It was nobody but just me coming down through here. It wasn't nobody else. I ain't see nobody else out on the street. I had a hard time, man. I had to put my head way down on the handlebar and had my back up, and I was getting everything I had. I come in this curve here, and you know how you kick your foot out? Part of my shoe sole was smoking when I was turning this corner right here.
Hey, this is the Mont Leon Hotel right there on the
That
corner.
building there.
It's the Mont Leon.
And Cuz was standing right there. Come on in here. Get in here, man.
We were really worried about little Freddie King because we knew he had no car and we hadn't heard from him.
One day, I think it was like 2 or maybe 3 weeks after the storm, Amy saw his name on a Red Cross list, and that's where we knew he was in Texas.
Yeah, I had to get him out of here because I know he never would have survived. Yeah, he never would have made it.
That's right. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go down to New Orleans and get your gold like. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go down to New Orleans to get your gold like. I know your man done gone. Know your man done gone. Know your man done gone to the county farm. He got his shackles on.
You know, like stress and different things, pains and things that you're going through. When you bring that out of you, that's the blues.
The blues, it tells a story. It's like a can opener that's prying in your heart.
Got me way down here. Got me way down here about a rolling folk. You dreaming like a dog.
Man, it was a disaster.
Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go down to New Orleans to get your gold.
Thousands of people have made their living playing blues, but no one knows of them. Drink Small, the Blues Doctor. He used to be out there on the VJ label in the mid-50s.
You gonna do a drink? Oh, yeah. Hey, nice break. I was looking for that old Ford or whatever you had last time. What was that? As a ballad. Yeah.
We think about music. I'm God sent with that. Just not something I picked up. It came along with me.
This little song here, it doesn't have a name. In my hometown, Bishop Dready, South Carolina, had a little dance called the Wiseacre. Guy used to get close to the lady, you know.
Some people you got to push them. Me, you got to keep up with me. I want to be imitated, but not duplicated.
Well, I'm gonna be back, and I won't be back to fall.
See, a lot of people get the blues confused. You can have the blues and can't sing, ain't never heard the blues, and have the blues. Rich people got the blues because they're trying to keep the money. Poor got the blues because they're trying to get the money. I got the blues because I ain't got no money. So how can you get around that?
Well, I won't be back at all.
I'm not just a blues player, I'm a gospel player too. I love country music, I love blues, love gospel. Everything you hear me play, you hear the gospel come out. If I sing the gospel, you hear the blues come out.
I might play the blues, but I know Jesus. My boogaloo butt. You know Jesus. I might drink a little gin, but I still know Jesus.
Everybody got the blues, but they hate to admit it. Christian people got the blues. You can't live without the blues.
I gotta need my hand, gotta need my feet, gotta need my legs, got it all over me.
Hallelujah and boogaloo. If you're good, both of them sound good.
great blues player. I mean, great. That was all I did, play. I grew up playing the blues. I didn't even have to be paid for it because I was going to do it anyway. And I was a drinking man, too, drinking and playing the blues and stuff like that. I was just living a hard, almost a hard, sinful life. Gospel music, they call gospel music when you put the Lord in it or whatever, you know, like saying the Lord this, the Lord that. But see, when you just playing a song and putting your bass and stuff like that, they call it blues. Oh, that's the only difference I see in it.
Bishop Manning was a blues man, and a great one, great T-band blues man. But he stopped his blues and became a preacher. But he still kept that music. His gospel's very much infected by this great fingerstyle guitar, and especially his electric sound is so raw and unadorned. We were coming back from Charleston, South Carolina, Denise and I, and we stopped in Ridgeway, South Carolina, and I asked if they knew any old players. He said, oh, there's this great group called the Goins, Elder James and Mother Pauline Goins.
To tell you, I got good news. I got news to tell you. I got good news.
I love the Goins music. You know, it represents the older style, the roots of gospel music. Especially Elder Goins' guitar style is, you know, goes straight back to West African lyre music. Just playing one riff and singing all the changes over one chord is truly amazing. And total, you know, belief and utter belief in what they're singing.
I got news. I done sure up my clothes. I'm on my way to heaven. Hey, that's good. Got news to change.
Religion in the South is a huge influence, and many great musicians have come out of the church.
Rain in your life. You got to have some rain in your life. Gotta have rain in all your life to appreciate the sunshine.
Essie Mae Brooks is a wonderful gospel singer that writes her own gospel songs and most requested gospel singer in that area of Georgia.
Whenever the idea comes, I start writing. I can be in church and something come to me, I grab my pencil and I jot that down. Ain't nothing but rain, Lord, when trouble. I've been performing ever since I was a child. I'm not an evangelist, I'm just an old country gospel singer. I just spread the word. You got to have rain in your life. You got to have some rain in your life. Got to have rain in all your life to appreciate the sunshine.
Hello, music maker. Yeah. Boo, what's going on? Doing great. How's the CD selling? They're bootlegging your CD on the computer? We brought him down here and we recorded the CD and gave it to him. And we've been donating to him and he's been selling them in his community. So he's raised, you know, he's probably raised $4,000 so far or more. Making CDs has been always a priority, but in the early 90s it was very expensive to do it, and so we had 2 or 3 CDs, and then there was 3 or 4 years where we just didn't have any money to replicate them. And then I was tied up with record contracts from like 95 to 2000, and so we only got 9 CDs out of that period. And then in 2001 we started issuing about 12 records a year. And we donate the CDs to the artists. It costs us a lot less money for them to add a lot more income to their life. Over the years, now we have over 75, I think it's 84 CDs we've done. And I have so much more. Look, all these CDs behind me. We burn the CDs as we need them, as the demand has it, and therefore we can keep all these titles and not have to invest in a whole lot of product. Someone could be playing guitar for 75 years and finally have their own CD out, and they, like Boo Hanks, and he sells them in his community, and it makes people very happy to know about him, and makes him happy, makes him a little money.
Keep on trucking, baby. Hey, keep on trucking, baby. Trucking my blues away. Keep on trucking.
They go home and they practice and, you know, bring up old songs that they didn't remember, start writing new songs because they're inspired. And in doing so, I think it raises up the community. The artist is uplifted by all of this, and then the art form is actually raised up because they're better than they were, and they're being documented.
You know, Adolphus Bell's another great example. The other day I was talking to him on the phone, and he's like, well, I gotta get up, and now I walk every morning because I gotta keep in shape, and I practice my guitar for an hour every day.
It was a good experience to meet Tim and then meet some other guitar players too, like John Lee, David Luke and all of them. I mean, it was really a thrill, man. I mean, I enjoyed it.
I think one of the most significant things we can do for artists that we didn't even intentionally plan on doing is building a community of artists for them. And so when we would meet a new artist, say we meet Cootie Stark, and he lived in Greenville, South Carolina, we would invite him up to our headquarters in Pinnacle, and Captain Luke and Mike Avine and Willa Mae would all come up, and they would all start playing together. And then when we would tour, we have shows to go out, they'd all go out on the road together. So in playing together, they would really kind of egg each other on to really pull out their best chops and pull out old material and revive different material and trying to top each other with songs. And it built this really strong community of artists, and they all became friends, independent, and would call each other on the phone and talk. And I think that's meant more to artists than a lot of times the financial help.
I think Mike Avine speaks of it as in a spiritual nature that gives them something more than just money and a gig. You feel a part of a community.
And now we realize how important it is for artists, and it's something we consciously do.
A lot of guys who never been discovered will have the second chance now with your organization. And some of who have been discovered and kind of confused like about this, give up. You spice them up, you give them something to live for, to continue on. And the one who have done it and stopped, you give them something to come back to.
I think we saw that with Max when he came up here. You know, I think he said it was the greatest experience he had in 40 years since he left Georgia. You know, to be back in that kind of community. And that we do that all the time for people. We spot them, and they're just kind of out there alone, and trying to struggle, trying to figure out what to do with this weird old blues. Now they know Mike Avine and Captain Luke are out there doing it, and I'll introduce them to more people. We'll do shows together, and they give them something to look forward to. We just started this with, a young college student, Ford van and 2 guitars, and a little cheap tape recorder. Gave us a faith can move mountains, and and it's true. Ideas can help. So you learn a lot from these guys just to keep at it.
I love it. That's why I keep saying it. Everything you love, you stick with.
young people, this is where it's at. And I'll keep pressing on the young people to dig this and understand this. I keep a pressing on them to do this. So, this is it. We're trying to keep this alive. And all over the world, we're trying to keep the blues alive. Because the old shackles have built the road to travel on. Oh yeah. Some of you know where you came from. Don't get away from that. Yeah. Young ladies, young men, please pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention to what done happened to bring y'all fulfillment. Oh yeah. Let's go way back. And I'll keep pressing on the young people to dig this and understand this. I keep a pressing on them to do this. To dig this and understand this. I keep a pressing on them to do this.